I love watching me some Sophie Cunningham. Even when she's not on the court, this woman seems to do everything with a passion that we need in this country. Now, she's done a recent interview, which I get to show you because it was a after practice interview, and she's talking about defending her teammates. Now, one, at least other teams have been doing this, but last year you barely saw this on the Fever. But it's gotten to the point where why, if the WNBA would actually full game, have the refs actually pay attention to what the rules are supposed to be and enforce them, then the games wouldn't be what they are. You wouldn't have people looking at this WNBA as a joke. You've literally got somebody who's come in, has put a spotlight on you, is bringing in the views, is bringing in the money, but you've got these old heads in the WNBA that are going, we don't want any of that. We want the NBA to keep giving us money because we're failures. Because that's what they have been. Caitlin Clark comes in. She is a Wilt Chamberlain. Everybody keeps talking about Michael Jordan. No, she's a Wilt Chamberlain. Look it up. But we'll talk about that after you hear this. So I want you to listen to this interview and tell me if this does not sound like what you want to hear on a team.
Hey folks, this is Paul with Redneck Sports. I want to thank you for viewing my video. And I want to give you one thought process. There was a famous coach at the University of Tennessee by the name of General Robert Nealon. He had 6 maxims, but number 2 maxim is what everybody should apply to their life. Play for and make the breaks. When one comes your way, score. That's how to live your life right there.
So if you've gained, I think, 500,000 followers and such, and your jersey selling out, how cool is that for your...
Yeah, it's cool. It's funny what kind of people are attracted to. I'm just trying to keep the main thing. The main thing is that's basketball, trying to win games, sticking up for my teammates. And that's all part of it. I think all that stuff it's fun and whatnot, but at the end of the day, we need to win some basketball games.
So if I remember last year after that 2-week training camp that Nate took you all out of town for the bonding, but everybody commented on the energy that Sophie brought, whether it was Tosh coming in meeting you or just other people. Have you, now being one of the new ones here, but you're someone who likes to bring the energy, whether we just saw what we saw, but regardless, can you just talk about that?
I think that's just who I am. It's my personality. I'm the glue to it. We kind of have a weird age gap. We have some oldies on the team. We have some young bucks, and I'm kind of the tweener is what they call me. And so it's just trying to make everyone match and make sure we're all just having good vibes, right? The seasons has a bunch of highs and lows, and so just trying to keep a level head on everyone. But I also think that we get to play basketball for a living, and that's super fun. So sometimes you just need a good perspective of like, hey, we're in the grind right now, and it feels hard, but at the end of the day, we get to dribble a ball for a living, so we got to be grateful for that.
What's it going to take for you guys to get on a roll here and get some wins together?
You know what? I think we just shot ourselves in the foot. I thought we played pretty good in the first half out in San Fran, and then we just empty offensive possessions. We were sloppy defensively. They just outworked us, and that is something that we don't want that in our DNA. And so I think you're going to see some spunk from us. Today was a little quiet, but I think we were just dialed in, right? We have a fun group, we have a goofy group, but sometimes you kind of need to get pissed off a little bit and dial in. I think that's what you saw today.
When you look at the league, though, outside of New York and Minnesota, there have been some shocking losses. I mean, Atlanta lost to Washington. Vegas loses last night. How good is this league top to bottom right now when you look at it as a whole?
No, yeah, well, that's what I was going to say is, kind of coming in before anyone played, you thought that some teams weren't going to be as good as they are, but this year, teams are good. And the rookies are tough. The squads that teams have put together, you have to bring your A game every single night or else you're going to get beat. I mean, you just saw that when we played San Fran. And so it's a credit to our league. There's a lot of great players who are still not in the league. And so you see the W growing and a bunch of really great athletes. But at the end of the day, you got to win a ball game and come focus every single night.
You played in front of your packed house a few nights back. The other night, the energy in San Francisco. Tomorrow, you're on the Las Vegas Strip. What can the Las Vegas expect from Sophie?
Oh, you know what? I'm just going to be me. I don't go in there trying to predetermine anything. I'm dialed in. I need to focus on hitting my shots, making sure I'm executing the schemes right. I'm not focused on the extracurricular activities. And you know what? During that, it was just part of the game. I think the refs had a lot to do with that. It was a build up for a couple of years now of them just not protecting, the star player of the WNBA. And so at the end of the day, I'm going to protect my teammates. That's what I do. And I'm a team player, so it's all good.
Now, I am not someone who thinks that outside of hockey, you should have an enforcer on a team. Okay, once in a while, cool in the modern day basketball. Draymond Green is fun to watch on occasion. But we are no longer in a basketball world in which you should be putting up nets around the court. If you don't know what I'm talking about, it's basketball history. Look up the very early days of basketball. It was so violent that they actually had to put nets up. No joke. That was how violent it used to be. You should not need an enforcer. You should have already had the rules in place and refs in place that would end the blatant trying to harm another player mentality that is going on in the WNBA. This is not hockey. Somebody should not leave their teeth out on the court. Caitlin Clark has done something that in the NBA, if you look back in history, this is not a Michael Jordan moment. This is a Wilt Chamberlain moment. The NBA, just like the WNBA now, before Wilt Chamberlain came in, even with stars like George Mike and Bob Cousy, Bill Russell, were barely making any money. People were not packing the stands all that often. Wilt Chamberlain comes in. He plays. Even before he was in college, people paid attention to him. When he got to college, he went to Kansas. This is the blue blood. This is where Naismith coached at. Okay, Naismith was not a winning coach because he didn't care. And if you don't know who Naismith is, he created basketball. Wilt Chamberlain leaves early because he needs money for his family or whatnot, and he goes to the Harlem Globetrotters and plays for a year or two. Then he comes into the NBA. And because of the resume he had before the NBA, people are packing the stands to watch him play basketball. They weren't packing the stands before, so the NBA was making money off of him. But unlike the WNBA, the NBA actually tried to cash in on this and did. WNBA, on the other hand, doesn't like Caitlin Clark because they can't be welfare children off the NBA. Everybody else is welfare children off pro sports because pro sports doesn't or rarely has to pay for much else other than the exorbitant and unnecessary paychecks to these players. And yes, I say that because I would say lower the ticket prices, lower everything back down, and get it to the point where some redneck from East Tennessee, some inner city kid from Detroit, Michigan, some farmer from Iowa is able to go into a basketball game without having to save for 5 years. Yes, I think that should be basketball. And they shouldn't have to pay for a league that is a failure up to this point. If you aren't going to protect Caitlin Clark, you're idiots. Okay, she might turn into a Michael Jordan. She might actually cause you to eat good, as Zeke Thomas said. Yes, I know his name is Isaiah Thomas, but there were two Isaiah Thomases that played in the NBA, and I'm talking about Zeke, not the younger one. Zeke Thomas said that they were eating good off of Michael Jordan coming into the league. You can do that with Caitlin Clark, but the way that you're handling it, you're not even going to get the impact that Wilt Chamberlain had. And Wilt Chamberlain made a massive impact, and people don't realize that today. So get off your duffs. and quit allowing this to happen. Or you can fade into obscurity because, hey, let me tell you something. Eventually, people are going to start going, you know what? You're not making us any money, so go away. That's exactly what's going to happen. And, well, I mean, even the NBA is going to get fed up with it. I can almost guarantee that. But hey, whatever. This is a sport that I like, and you folks are screwing it up. But Sophie Cunningham at least has the right attitude about it. This has been Paul with Redneck Sports. Y'all have a good day now. Bye.
I want to thank you for watching my video. And if you like what you saw, like, subscribe, and comment. Y'all have a good day now.